Bonjour tout le monde. Good to see you guys. Est-ce qu'on lutte contre les changements climatiques? Est-ce qu'on enlève les armes à feu de nos rues? That's the choice Canadians are facing. As we work hard together from coast to coast to coast to stop conservative cuts, to invest in making life affordable for Canadians, to get guns off our streets, and to fight climate change. We need to continue to fight climate change. We need to continue to do more. And for that, it takes Canadians pulling together to vote for a strong government. Pour lutter contre les changements climatiques, pour continuer la lutte contre les changements climatiques. We know that Canadians need a government that reflects our shared values, our hope for the future, our willingness to stand up and fight for each other and fight climate change and build a better future. And for that, Canadians across the country need to choose forward. As they listen to their kids talk about the importance of fighting climate change, of building a better future, to stop conservative cuts, to make life more affordable, to get guns off our streets, and to fight climate change right across the country. That will stop conservative cuts, that will invest in the fight against climate change, that will get guns off our streets, and that will make life more affordable for families right across the country.
Didn't answer the question. I'm just wondering what your personal view of minority governments is when you look back at the track record over Canadian history.
When I look back at the last 4 years, we were able to bring in a national plan to fight climate change, and we pushed back against conservative premiers like Doug Ford and Jason Kenney, who didn't want to do anything to fight climate change. And that's exactly the kind of strong, progressive government we need to continue being in order to fight against climate change, to make life more affordable by investing in families, by getting guns off our streets instead of weakening gun control the way conservatives want to, and mostly a strong government that will stand strong against conservative cuts. Rien faire sur la lutte contre les changements climatiques. Vont lutter contre les changements climatiques comme il a lutté contre les changements climatiques, livré dans cette lutte contre les changements climatiques pour lutter contre notre plan pour contrer les changements climatiques. L'action dans la lutte contre les changements climatiques. Pour lutter contre les changements climatiques? Do we continue to move forward on reconciliation, on making life more affordable, on getting guns off our streets, on fighting climate change? And do we stop conservative cuts? That's the choice on Monday. But not just in this election, our future for the next 4 years, our future for the next 40 years as well, because the fight against climate change needs action now. We've seen tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids in our streets over the course of this campaign saying to their leaders that we need more action on climate change, and we agree. And on Monday, right across the country, Canadians get to make a choice for their kids, for their grandkids, for making life more affordable, for keeping our communities safer by getting guns off the streets, and by fighting and stepping up in our fight against climate change. That's what we need a progressive government for. We're not going to go for the conservative cuts and the approach on climate change that does absolutely nothing and leaves it to future generations. On Monday, Canadians right across the country are going to choose forward. Lutter contre les changements climatiques. Et lutter contre les changements climatiques. Vote. Do we stop conservative cuts? Do we invest in our families and in our future and make life more affordable for them? Do we continue to strengthen gun control and get guns off our streets? And do we step up in the fight against climate change? And I feel great about the choice Canadians are making to keep moving our country forward. use the politics of fear and division and indeed just make stuff up in order to try and get their message across. We need to stop conservative cuts. We need to invest in our future, invest in our kids by making life more affordable. We need to move forward on fighting climate change and getting guns off our streets. La lutte contre les changements climatiques. Our approach to both fight climate change and build a stronger future with better jobs for our kids. Our approach on strengthening gun control, not weakening gun control like the Conservatives want to do, are the things that Canadians are going to vote on Monday. And from what the conversations I've had right across the country, Canadians are excited about continuing to move forward. People are serious about building a better future for their kids, and that includes a real plan to fight climate change and make life more affordable for Canadians, which is exactly what the Liberal plan does. To stop conservative cuts, to fight climate change, to get guns off our streets, and to make life more affordable for all Canadians. And I can't wait to keep working with all Canadians on exactly that. We need a strong government that reflects our values, that invests in Canadians, invests in making life more affordable for people, that gets guns off our streets, that fights climate change, and that stops conservative cuts. Strongest gun control proposals in Canada's history. Not only did we strengthen gun control significantly over the past 4 years, but we've put forward a plan that will ban military-style assault weapons right across the country, because there is no place in our communities or in our country for guns that are designed to kill the largest number of people in the shortest amount of time. On top of that, we are giving cities like Hamilton the opportunity to ban and limit handguns, because we know that protecting our kids, protecting our communities is a priority shared by Canadians right across the country. And the Conservatives want to weaken gun control. They want to make it easier to buy guns with less background checks, and they don't want to ban military-style assault weapons. That would be the wrong choice, and that's another reason why folks in Hamilton, folks right across the country, will choose Forward on Monday. And that's why our plan is focused on stopping conservative cuts, on investing in affordability, on fighting climate change, and on getting guns off our streets. And that's what Canadians get to decide on Monday.
I know that you have a job to do in repeating your message. We have a job to do in asking you questions. Could you at least try to answer the question I'm trying to ask you? You said no to electoral reform. You argued that it was unstable. A proportional representation system would create a pizza parliament. You didn't want to work that way. Polling suggests that Canadians actually want to send a minority government to Ottawa, that they don't trust you, they don't trust Andrew Scheer. Do you regret your decision to nix electoral reform?
Canadians right now, this weekend, are reflecting on the choice they get to make on Monday. That's what Canadians are thinking about, from coast to coast to coast. Those are the conversations we're having about whether or not they're going to be able to afford to send their kids to university. And that's why we have a plan that's going to make sure that you don't have to start paying back your student loans until you're making $35,000 a year. This morning, I got to meet with seniors who were focused on being able to afford their medications. When they found out that we were going to be increasing old age security by 10% for seniors over 75, they were massively relieved, along with the fact that we're going to be moving towards implementing pharmacare. One of our candidates just yesterday heard from a dad in the riding who admitted to her that he has always voted Conservative all his life and was planning on doing that again, but decided that in this election he was going to give his vote to his 13-year-old daughter because it was our future and her future that we were talking about. And he was going to vote for the only government that has had a real climate plan in the history of this country. He was going to vote Liberal for his 13-year-old daughter because of the fight against climate change. These are the conversations that Canadians are having this weekend. This is the choice Canadians face on Monday. Do we stop Conservative cuts? Do we invest in affordability for Canadians? Do we invest in the fight against climate change? And do we make our streets safer by strengthening gun control? Those are the conversations Canadians are having across the country, and that is the choice they're facing on Monday. This is an election that is more important than just the next 4 years. It will decide whether Canada continues to step up on the greatest challenge of our time, the fight against climate change. Make life more affordable for our seniors, for our young people, for students, for families. It's going to invest in small businesses and a brighter future. That's going to fight climate change, because you can't build a strong economy unless you are at the same time protecting the environment. Everyone knows that except the Conservatives. And it's going to strengthen gun control to make sure that more of our kids and families in our streets are safer at a time when the Conservatives want to loosen gun control and make it easier to buy guns. This choice in this election is, do we continue